Hey everybody, EagleRun23 here. We're going to go over 9 or 10 things that you gotta have if you're going to be a DIY builder and partake in your hobby to the extreme level where you're making your own stuff. All right, so today we've got 9 or 10 things that you definitely need and one thing that basically nobody needs. Starting off here with the tools. Everybody has the little bins full of the Allen keys, the hex keys, the Torx keys, all the stuff. I've got one drawer over here on the side. These are the ones that I'm using when I'm working on. And I've tried to go over this and fix this problem a couple of different ways. I bought a set of Allen and Torx keys, both metric and standard, and they're the hex shape like this that will fit into like the end of a screwdriver. And so I put a little magnet inside there, and I thought this was going to revolutionize my Torx Allen key situation. And it turns out that being able to turn that, I'm not able to get it as tight as you are when you have the leverage of being able to crank on it, which is probably why these exist. And then I also tried to fix this problem with this set here from Amazon. And this is what I'm currently using, but I do find that the way that these are tensioned, the way that you can put more torque on them and they'll kind of flex. Typically, it's about as tight as you need it to go, but there are still cases when you're cranking on something that you need the full power of the hex Allen key. So get yourself a set of these these are very handy, very easy to tighten and loosen. A big upgrade is getting away from these and trying to do something a little bit quicker, a little bit faster, a little bit more handy. And so unfortunately, you do need the metric and the standard, and then some of these I think are the security ones with the hole in the end of them. Probably don't really need those, but good to have. Just some hand tools. These are both from a company called PB Tools. I definitely recommend them, but they are very expensive. I've had mine for 10 or 15 years, and there's the logo right there. But this is a dead blow hammer. You need yourself a good set of screwdrivers. You don't have to spend $30 on one screwdriver. I'll have a link for these down below, but just pick up a good quality set and keep them separate for your work on these things. Keep them separate. Don't be using this to, fix your plumbing under the sink, and don't be shoving this into your oil filter when you're out there changing the oil. All right, before we get any further, let me tell you about today's sponsor, Optics Planet. Super to be working with them. They're doing a great job of helping us out with some build projects. They've got great prices. They're kind of like the Amazon of the hobbies that we like to play with here. So a lot of the things I have linked in this video will be to Amazon, but if it is a specific thing, I'll show that to you over on Optics Planet. And you can kind of compare some prices, and there'll be a list for everything in this video over on the blog. You can check that out, and that's where all the links will be. All right, moving on, we have some very specific parts for us DIY builders, and these are like an action rod type thing. This one's for AR-15, and I got this one from DLD Hardware. Dark had these in stock, and I've used it once or twice. I haven't built a lot of AR-15s recently, but you can tell the AR-10 one has seen some wear. We used this one to build all of the 8.6 blackouts, the 308. For me, the other one we built this summer, we built 2, and then the 6.5 Creedmoor a couple months ago, and then I've worked on a couple of Buddies 308. So this one has gotten some use. And so I went ahead and got the Real Deal Midwest Industries. This is almost cost prohibitive. If you were just going to build one gun, I wouldn't recommend doing this. This is a several $100 part, and it makes it very nice, but it could be unnecessary if you're just doing one. Now, the aluminum version here from DLD is a cheaper version, but it works fine. Like I said, I've used it twice, and no problem with this at all. I would definitely recommend it. I'll put a link to his website, but I also have the Real Deal Midwest Industries one that I'll link to you as well. But if you're just going to build one gun, don't go this route. I would just recommend going with these. These are just the clamps that go around your upper receiver. Your upper receiver fits in there. You clamp it together. You can kind of see the way that it would fit there, and put this in your vise. Now, for most of us, torquing to 45 pounds, no big deal. This will definitely hold it. I built several guns with this method with no problems at all. So you will need a vise in order to use this, but it's a way cheaper alternative, and it's not caliber specific as well. Now, speaking of torque and barrel nuts, that's where we get into some real specific things. You can't go wrong. You have to have one of these. This is just an armorer's wrench for AR-15. You gotta have one of these. This is a Tapco brand. There's a lot of better ones out there, but anymore, I'm looking to purchase the exact crow's foot that I need for my application. So if I don't already have them, I've got 32 through like 36, which fits a lot of AR-10 stuff. But if I don't have it, I'll just order in one. And a couple of times I've had to grind this down a little bit. So you got to modify, but no big deal. And then you're going to just pop that on your torque wrench, which brings me to the next thing. Get yourself a set of crow's foot, or just start buying them individually, and then they'll go directly on your torque wrench. This is the second torque wrench I've had. I know that this isn't like a big time name brand, but I've had this one for maybe 6 or 8 months, and it's built probably half a dozen guns, and it's been a good one. It's better than the other one that I had. So I'll have a link for this, or you can see some other options there on the link. Thanks for hanging out here to the end of the video. Let me give you one thing that you definitely don't need if you're a DIY builder. Now, a lot of us have it. It's kind of cool to see, but it's really just unnecessary. There's no real reason to have this information unless you're making YouTube videos or doing lots of comparing of other firearms. If you're just a hobbyist, you're gonna build a couple of guns, there's no reason to have a trigger pull gauge. This is, I picked this up a couple years ago. I use it quite a bit just in videos because I'm doing a lot of comparing and kind of showing you guys this trigger over this trigger. Realistically, all that matters to you is the feel of the trigger. What does it feel like when you pull it? Whether it's a 2.5 pound or a 4 pound, none of that really matters if you're happy with it. So we're gonna take a quick look here at this Kiger. Now, this is an OEM style Glock trigger, and we are all clear here. And this actually on the trigger gauge shows to be a little heavy over some of my other Glocks. But when I was doing the 500 round challenge on this gun, I really just didn't notice the trigger at all. Putting 500 rounds through a gun, you're gonna find that you do or don't like something. And this trigger just never crossed my mind. It was no problem. I was shooting some quick, I was shooting some slow. So the poundage on this would tell me that I don't like this trigger, but yet when I shot it, it was fine. So just keep that in mind, and that's why I have the trigger pull gauge as a not necessary item that you probably don't need. All right, so there's some things you need and maybe something you don't. Thank you again to Optics Planet, and I'll have a link down pinned in the comments that will show you all the write-up on these and where to find them. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.